Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. As Sally would say, as she went into the champagne supernova of the sky, Elijah is going to be here to talk to us about his music any minute now. But first, this from the wonderful people at Analog Trash.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Elijah, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having us on, Graham. I'm looking forward to chatting music and all sorts of life.
Cool. Now, you are clearly an Oasis fan, etc. Can we deny or confirm that you will be supporting Oasis on their up and coming tour?
I've not had a call yet, but
No.
so
Well, they're leaving that a bit last minute, then, aren't they?
they certainly are. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you going to any of the gigs?
yeah. I'm going to Heaton Park and Wembley, so I
Oh, twice. You managed to get in there twice. Lovely.
managed to get them pre-sale codes that were like
Gold dust.
modern day equivalent to a golden ticket on
Yeah.
the Willy Wonka films. Managed to somehow get to, and when everyone was stressing on the Saturday morning in the general sale, I was sitting comfortably with my feet up.
Oh, look at that. You see, they obviously want you there. You see,
Exactly.
it's just a matter of time, my friend. It's just a matter of time. When did you first start playing and singing music?
So it all started for me when I got my first guitar at 11 years old.
What was it? What was the first one?
It was a Fender acoustic guitar, which my granddad bought for me, which I still play to this day when I'm just like practicing in my room, chilling.
I was going to say that's quite good for a first guitar, isn't it? I mean, most people get like the old beaten up classical guitar from the charity shop with, strings that cut through your fingers and whatever. But a Fender for your first is not bad.
Yeah, no, it's been a great guitar, and I'm 20 now, so I've had that guitar the best part of 9 years, and still gets played on the odd occasion. It's what I started learning the likes of Oasis, the Beatles on throughout my teenage years, and then I didn't actually start writing until I went to university in 2022.
What are you doing at uni?
I'm doing journalism at the minute.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm in my final year, so I'll be graduating in June or July. So yeah.
But out of journalism, are there any particular forms of journalism you're preferring? I mean, I presume if you're studying journalism for, say, are you doing broadcast and written journalism, etc.? Yeah.
So a module I'm doing at the minute is music, culture and arts journalism, which is something I really enjoy. Obviously, being like really into music, I enjoy it, and I don't find it too hard, the music culture side of things. So, and it's always enjoyable to like write or report on something that you're really passionate about.
Are you writing reviews for people? Have you already started that?
I've done a couple of reviews for like the uni paper and some other magazine outlets.
Do you know what? As a musician, writing reviews for other musicians is a really good way to get in. Absolutely great way to get in. If you're watching this and you're you're a musician out there and of a certain stature, and you want Elijah to review your album for you, get in touch. There you go. Just got you some additional work.
Brilliant.
Or if nothing else, some free albums and to bolster the record collection. Exactly. And now look, in the background there we can see vinyl. Are you quite old school with music, and you're listening to music and how you want it? I mean, do you prefer the physical format?
Yeah, it's vinyl any day for me over just putting a pair of headphones in. there's just a few there. I've got quite a few more others. But yeah, I've had my vinyl player since COVID now, so I've built up quite the collection in the past 5 years. There's very good record shops in Manchester, which I regularly go to and get some new records.
Is that then for you? Is that one of the ultimate goals along the line? Is to have your music on vinyl?
It would be very cool to have my own music on vinyl, definitely, because it would be something that you could look back on in years and be like, oh, you know, we did this.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I think a lot of musicians, you know, that's part of the dream along the process is to actually get to that point where you physically have something in your hands. Who were like, other than, you know, people like Oasis and whatever, who were inspirations in terms of getting you into writing? Not even musicians per se, but were there people, family, friends wise or whatever, that really inspired you to get writing?
The person that inspired me to play guitar was my granddad, because he'd always played as I was growing up.
Love that.
And then as I went into my teenage years, being from Manchester, it was obviously a lot of the Manchester artists such as Oasis, Stone Roses. But then I didn't really decide that I wanted to do music as a long-term idea until I was 17, when I went to Neighbourhood Weekender in Warrington and saw Jerry Cinnamon play. And I saw Jerry Cinnamon up there and I was just like, that's what I want to do.
What was it about that performance that made the light come on?
It was my first festival that I'd been to. Obviously, it was just after COVID as well, when everything had started to get back to some form of normality. And I think just hearing everyone sing Jerry's words back to him, and it was just a light bulb moment, really. And I was like, that's something that I'd like to do. Obviously, I went to uni then a year later and then wrote my first song, Made a Moments, that we released in July last year.
How do you go about writing?
So when I started writing at uni, I found that I just had a lot more time on my hands. I started to sit down and think about things that had gone on in life. Think for me, it's writing it and putting into some form of song. Some people keep a diary, some people like journal, things like that. I find the best way to get my thoughts and feelings out is by picking up a guitar and writing songs.
What are your I mean, you're at uni. What do your peers think? Are they supportive of the music? Do they come along to gigs when you play?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had some great gigs. We're playing Deaf Institute in February, supporting Ben Walker on February the 21st.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we're playing the You Are Not Alone Festival in Stockport on March the 2nd. And yeah, all of my uni friends are really supportive of the work that I'm doing for music, and all of them come along to the gigs.
That's tremendous. When you get to play a support gig for someone like Ben, what are you hoping at the same time you might get like 10 minutes, 20 minutes with Ben to be able to ask questions? And what would you ask him?
I'd obviously just ask for tips about how to grow as a musician. Ben's done an excellent job over the last few years of building himself a profile and getting some top class work out there. So it would probably just be, you know, a 2-3 year span of tips on how to grow. You know, nothing comes overnight now in the music industry. It's years of hard work for whoever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a bit of the sort of, you know, the music world, etc., that you find more difficult to navigate than others?
I'd definitely say it's sort of the building of the profile and the content strategy. I think with the algorithms always changing and stuff, I don't think someone has quite figured out the spell of how to consistently promote and it all do well, and the numbers just continue to shoot up.
I think you've got to have something about you, don't you? I mean, you've got to have something that people latch onto, or beyond perhaps the music itself.
Yeah.
Have you kind of found it quite inspirational to see various people with different kinds of attraction points coming through? I mean, you get people like Lewis Capaldi. I mean, clearly, right? He's very, very funny, and he's very kind of vulnerable about his own mental health issues and anxiety and whatever as well. Do you think that it's great that the world is opening up now in terms of what you can be in front of people?
Yeah, there definitely isn't a structured image that you have to be to fit in. There's definitely a lot more scope for many different personalities and walks of life to, break into the industry. I do think a lot of it does boil down to how good your music is, though.
Totally. If you don't write good songs, right?
Be a comedian, but you could write the worst song ever.
Yeah.
You're going to make it in the music industry.
How far do you think you've come in terms of your own music writing? How far from when you first started to now do you think you've progressed? And do you feel like you're constantly progressing every single time you write a song? Do you feel like it's a constant progression?
I'd like to think so. The numbers on Spotify as well do channel that. The latest song, Take a Chance on Her, which was released late 2024 in November, it is our highest streaming song now on Spotify. I think I've also developed my writing from an acoustic artist from the first few releases to now where I'm working with a full band for the post Stay Tonight releases. So there's definitely been development in my writing, because it is different from writing for just a one man and his guitar to a 4-piece band.
Yeah. Do you think you've found your sound yet, or do you think you're still working on it?
That's a good question. Potentially, but there's always room for a new sound. You don't want to sound the same as everyone else. You want your own unique sound. It's something that we're certainly working on to nail, but I would also like to have a diverse sound where within releases it's not just one set genre between releases. It's a wider range of genres that suit different songs.
Yeah. How have you grown vocally? Because I mean, obviously, you started one man, guitar, etc. That's quite vulnerable in itself, isn't it? Etc. But in terms of, and I think it's always slightly different for blokes. I could be wrong. Getting out there, because depending upon what age you start, there's more likelihood that you're going to get backlash from other mates and whatever if you're singing. Do you know what I mean? But how have you found your vocal development? How well have you developed your voice, or how have you developed your voice?
I definitely think it has developed. I listened to videos from even a year ago and I'm like, oh, that does not sound good at all. And definitely finding the right control and, within writing the songs, especially on guitar, figuring out, the capo placement here and these chords can bring the best out of my voice. But my focus is on just getting better and better and better as a songwriter, a singer, and as a guitarist.
Yeah. Who do you think you need to put around you now? You've obviously got a team around you. You're developing a band unit as well, which is great. But who's the missing piece for you now, perhaps, to come into that team and help you?
I'd probably say that we're happy for where we are at the minute, because obviously we're still a very new band. Because I was doing my own solo stuff until only about August last year, and then we brought Bobby in on lead guitar, and then now as we've come into the new year, we've just started working as a 4-piece. So definitely the thing to complete at the minute is, developing the sound and making sure that we are 100% ready to take on these next gigs. We've got good connections with the likes of This Feeling and Scruff of the Neck in Manchester, who we've had the pleasure of doing a few gigs with each. We played the Scruff of the Neck Festival year's end just before Christmas, which was fantastic, because only a year before I'd attended the festival as a fan, and then a year later you're playing it. So it just shows that things can move quickly.
It's great, isn't it? It's what a great time of life to be at. What's on the sort of agenda for the rest of 25? What would be things that you might want to sort of try and achieve within 2025? Will it be things like BBC introducings, or will it be like more gigs of a higher profile? What's the main focus?
The main focus is making sure that the songs that are coming out are still of a very high quality, and that everyone's still enjoying them and still behind them. Playing more gigs is definitely on the cards. We've got a Liverpool gig lined up for April, which should be really good. And then, potentially some, bigger support slots. But the main focus is keep the music coming, keep the music fresh, keep the fans interested who are listening, and build as a band our image and our sound so we can be really ready for the opportunities when they come.
Do you hope to get more travel with the music as well? I mean, where's the furthest afield that you've been so far?
So the furthest we've been is gigging in Liverpool, so we're definitely looking to play a bit more of the Northwest, and then if we could get down to London, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe early next year, because these things always can take time. But the aim definitely is to see how far it can take us and where we can go with it. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. If you had any advice for someone that's, because you're a youngster yourself, but if you had any advice for someone that's just starting out, just picked up a guitar in the last week or so, and started playing, who's fallen in love with playing and writing, looking back already over your very short start of this career, what one bit of advice would you give them?
The first thing I'd say is definitely say yes to any opportunity that you're given. Do research as well about promoters in your local area. Obviously, being in Manchester, it's fantastic. We've got so many great promoters, independent labels on the doorstep who I've been very lucky to work with. And just keep going. You never know what's round the corner. Going back to Year's End Fest, when me and my brother attended, my brother said, this will be you soon. And then a year later, I've had an email come through saying, oh, we want you to play. So, yeah, but my advice would be, just do it. Research, good grassroots promoters, venues in the area, and look to build from there.
Absolutely. Now, listen, we said at the start you're a big Oasis fan, but would that be the dream gig for you? I mean, or what would be the sort of dream support slot for you?
Dream support slot. It would have to be Oasis, but even bands such as like the K's and the Royston Club or Blossoms, who have both had like, you know, really good albums. Blossoms especially this year with Gary. That was my album of the year for 2024. So yeah, if it wasn't Oasis, it would be like a Blossoms support slot or a Royston Club or the K's.
And that, do you find, like, especially with bands like that now, of that kind of level, that it seems to be that they're being more generous in terms of the opportunities that they're providing for people? Because I think these days younger bands know what it's like. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Because say, you know, 6 or 7 years ago, that they were in the place that, you know, a lot of young artists like myself are in today. They know the struggles of the industry and the things that, you know, have to be involved to get, you know, to the top of the game.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I hope it happens for you.
Thank you.
I hope it happens for you sooner rather than later, etc. Before you leave us today, and thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me today. What piece of music would you like of yours people to go and add to their playlist as of now, so that you know, it gets into their bloodstream?
As of now, it would either have to be the single that we released at the end of the year called Take a Chance on Her, or it would have to be my debut single, which was released in March 2024, Start Again.
One of those two, folks. If you could go and add it to your playlist, and then when you do, if you could go and talk to Elijah on social media, follow him obviously as well, of course, and just say, you know, give some feedback, to say what you think of the music, because, you know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Don't just listen to this stuff. Go and talk to the people that make it. It makes them feel so much better when you treat them like human beings, you know, because they slave over it for hours on end trying to get it right in the first place. Elijah, I honestly wish you all the best for your career. Come back sometime when, you know, you're further down the line, and we'll have another conversation. We'll see how you've got on. I'd love to talk to you about how the concert with Ben went, and maybe how supporting the Blossoms was as well. There you go. We can make it happen, folks. You just keep pushing it on the socials and it can all happen. It's as simple as that. This has been My Music with Elijah Jenkins, folks. I'll be back soon with more of the same. Until now, or till then, please, if you've enjoyed this, share it with your friends and family. If you haven't enjoyed it, I'm very, very sorry for wasting your time. You can go off into your own little world. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.